Everyone knows by now Donald Trump is being indicted. The grand jury in New York indicted him yesterday, that being March the 30th, on the hush money case. But before I get into the reactions, I want to just tell you a small story, a quick story, if you will. I was in middle school, barely in my teens, and I remember the O.J. Simpson trial. Now, mind you, I didn't know anything about O.J. Simpson at the time. I just thought that he had a cool sounding name. I knew he was a football player. I knew he was an actor at the time. That's about all I knew about him. His personal life and everything else, I didn't know. But I didn't realize, and I remember the Bronco chase. I remember going home one night with my dad and my mom and my grandfather. We were all watching the NBA Finals. Next thing we know, we see this Bronco being chased in Los Angeles, California. And again, I didn't really understand that. I was only a kid. I didn't really understand what was going on, what was really happening at the time. When the trial began, I still didn't understand. I didn't really pay much attention to it. And the thing that stuck out to me was when the verdict was actually announced. I kept seeing all these people crying and some people cheering. Again, I didn't know what was going on. And I'm not saying I grew up in a sheltered world where I didn't understand about race or anything else like that, but I still didn't understand. All that changed when I grew up. They say when you get older, you try to get wiser, and obviously that applies to me. When I actually look back at who O.J. Simpson was before that incident, I saw him as one of the greats, the giants of America, in American pop culture, in American athletics. This guy was, if you forgive me for even mentioning his name, this guy was like Derek Jeter. Before Derek Jeter became Derek Jeter, the big time superstar, the big time baseball player, the Hall of Famer, one of the greatest in the game. Anyway, when I look back at when the verdict is read, and I see African Americans cheering their hearts out, being the person that I am now, I thought that was really, really disgusting in my view. And not for the reasons you might think. O.J. Simpson was on trial for murder, a double murder. Of course, the victims being Ronald Goldman and Nicole Brown, his ex-wife. He wasn't a civil rights leader. He wasn't Martin Luther King. He wasn't Malcolm X. He wasn't Nelson Mandela. He was a celebrity named O.J. Simpson who got away with murder. I say get away with murder because I still think he did. That's just me talking. But what really got me was the sad tears and the anger from white people. They're acting like this guy got away with murder, and he did. But honestly, I understand the anger from that, but I don't understand it. Was Nicole Brown your daughter, your sister, your mother? Was Ron Goldman your brother, your father, your son? You see, I say all this because honestly, it gets me when people actually react to when we think is injustice. With O.J. Simpson getting away with getting a guilty verdict back then wasn't about civil rights. It wasn't about this, that, or the other. It was about a rich person getting away with murder. One segment of the country was celebrating it, and another half of the country was angry and sad about it, starting that divide between black and white back then, that unfortunately still exists now. I belabor all this because we're seeing it happen all over again with the announcement that Donald Trump has been indicted in the New York case of hush money paid to a porn star and perhaps even campaign finance laws being broken in hopes of him winning the 2016 election, which he did. And we are seeing all this reaction from the usual suspects in the Republican Party and the Maga. In a few moments, I'm going to play you a video of a compilation of people who are just so angry, so sad, so vilified to push them to the point where actually making threats against the DA. Now, mind you, those threats are for civil rights lawsuits. Whether civil rights law was broken in this particular case, I don't know. And we're also looking at, as I said before in the previous video, we're seeing tweets about Republicans wanting to start civil war, like Mary Jean Taylor Greene actually accusing us Democrats, us liberals, trying to start a civil war when she herself called for a national divorce. And of course, the reaction, we're about to see in these videos, the reaction from, of course, the man I called the basehead, Donald Trump Jr., saying that this is communist stuff. No, it's not. Donald Trump, there is evidence that Donald Trump may have committed a crime. And now he's being held accountable for it. Accountability is a word that is becoming a dirty word when it comes to the MAGA, to Donald Trump and the rest of his family, to Fox News, to ONN and the rest of those clowns. This isn't about vengeance because we lost the 2016 election. This is about accountability. And don't make no mistake about it, there are 3 more cases hanging over Donald Trump's head over this, where he's no doubt going to be held accountable for, especially since the evidence is pointing directly at him. Of course, I'm talking about J6. I'm talking about the documents investigation. I'm talking about the phone calls to the Georgia Secretary of State. The way I see it is this: if you can't handle being accountable for your actions, lock yourself in the hole and never come out. Because every day we commit actions that we may have to be held accountable for. And unfortunately, no, not unfortunately, because Donald Trump has never faced accountability ever in his life. He's never felt accountability by anyone in his whole family, save only his father. Only when his father saw something, he was doing something wrong. I'm not talking about stealing cookies from the jar or anything else like that. Not acting more like an ass towards everyone else around him. The fact is this: the videos you're about to see should frighten you, haunt all of us real Americans who believe in accountability, who believe in the rule of law, who believe in our Constitution. Because all they're doing is feeding into this idea of we're under attack. And they're in Donald Trump's favorite saying, they're coming after you, I'm just in the way. No, we're not. We're coming after you because you broke the law, Trump. You broke the law. You see, I get sick to my stomach every time I hear Donald Trump supporters say, law and order, we're the party of law and order, when you won't hold your own leader accountable when he breaks the law. Donald Trump is going to trial. And from my information, my information says that he's going to be arraigned and indicted on Tuesday in New York City. Now, you may not like this. Hell, I don't even like it because I don't like how the country is being more divided because of this. But this is where we are because of Donald Trump. And we already know what his, matter of fact, I'll explain that later in another video, sooner or later. But here are videos from congressmen, reporters, and everyone else out there trying to say that all this is just political. It's all political. That's all it is. It's political. It has nothing to do with the law. Become a banana republic or words those to that effect. No, we're not a banana republic. We are the United States of America, where the law reigns supreme, where the Constitution reigns supreme. If you can't handle that, if you can't understand what the law is, then you, Donald Trump, need to pack your bags, get on that Trump Force One plane of yours, and run to one of your best friends, either Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un or anyone else that'll take your ass, as long as you can pay. Anyway, here are some video examples from Fox News and others just chomping at the bit that Donald Trump is finally going to get the accountability. I'm sorry, my brain froze there. The accountability he deserves. That should have happened years ago. And I'm not talking 4 years ago or 5 years ago when he was president or anything like that. That he should have, maybe if he had faced some kind of accountability years ago, long before he became president, maybe he wouldn't be the bastard that we know him as now. But such is life. Here we are. Here are the videos.
Listen, I don't really feel right now living in this police state. I mean, we're in a police state. I'm not even arguing this with the, liberal zeros out there who watch this network all the time. I mean, some of them, their only job is to watch our shows, which is kind of humiliating, but that's for another day.
Clear, they are agitating for unrest. That's the only way to interpret this. They are agitating for unrest, and there is a godless element in this country that doesn't care about fairness. They don't care about the will of the people. They care about power and control. As you have spelled out this week, they think they're God. And they don't think they can make up the rules. They can decide what fairness is. They don't have a biblical worldview, and it's sickening for me. I'm upset. I'm emotional. I'm ready for whatever's next. And I hope every other man out there watching this show, I hope you're ready for whatever's next. If that's what they want, let's get to it.
Just saw the news that a far-left Manhattan grand jury has indicted President Donald Trump. Now, this is exactly like what happened during the fall of the Roman Republic, when you had made it commonplace to start persecuting the tribune of the plebs or either the consuls whenever they left political office. This is going to lead us down the exact same path that Rome followed, and will lead to a dictatorship. This is disgusting, and the DA in New York and Manhattan should be ashamed of himself.
How do you do it? You take if you got a pile of crap and you chop it up 34 times, it's still a pile of crap. It's duplicitous charging. They're trying to smear the guy. They're trying to take cases that nobody else would take and resurrect them. This is literally legal voodoo.
Democrats are branding Trump as a criminal.
It's legally pathetic.
It's clickbait.
It is an unbelievable abuse of justice.
Pure balderdash.
My heart is broken. I had some tears in my eyes.
Looking a little emotional. I feel the same way.
If there's a mugshot of Donald Trump, it'll be in dorm rooms and on T-shirts.
He is an OG.
Even if convicted, that's not going to stop him.
Donald Trump could run and park on saying, I'm going to pardon myself and go after the deep state.
It's not open for debate that we live in a police state.
It's like Stalin's purges.
We're crossing the Rubicon here.
This is a political Rubicon that has been crossed.
They have crossed the Rubicon.
Basically, it's one party hunting another. It almost feels like they're pushing the population to react.
It is a war on conservatism and MAGA.
They want you to strike out.
People better be careful. And that's all.
I'll tell you the complete irony is we were there today at the worst battle of the Civil War, the site of it. The fact that we found out that President Trump has been indicted by the George Soros funded Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg. And you think about the irony of that is pretty profound.
I really don't know what to say about all that. As I said before, it's the OJ verdict all over again. Some of these, the Republicans and news correspondents here from Fox News and elsewhere are chomping at the bit, angry that this is happening. If you can't handle the fact of accountability, then you don't deserve to be in public office. If you can't handle the fact that a person is going to be held responsible for their actions, you do not need to support that person, or you need to get out of politics altogether. Don't vote. Because accountability is what this country is based on, what political power it's based on. And I'm sorry that it angers you that Donald Trump's going to be held accountable. No, I'm not sorry, because you've exposed yourselves for the Americans you're not and the Trump whores you all are. CTP, you know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.